Hello all, I'll be starting a new series where I'll be explaining different concepts of chemistry which are very important starting from class 11 to advanced levels. So first I'll cover some of the basic concepts like what are periodic table, what is chemical bonding, which is for the lower classes for class 11, class 10. Later I'll be advancing to the next, that is coordination chemistry, organometallics and other concepts. Okay. So we'll start with one of the most basic concept, that is atomic mass and atomic number. We know atomic mass is the mass of proton plus neutrons, whereas atomic number is just mass of protons, and this is generally, it's very important, it's generally equals to the number of electrons. So this is one of the most basic concepts, atomic mass and atomic number. Based on this atomic mass and atomic number, we have arranged the elements, the elements like hydrogen, lithium, sodium, in an ordered manner, which is called as periodic table. We know some of the basic history about periodic table, that is for starting from I'll write it here. Starting from Newland, he proposed a concept of octets, that is he arranged in order of 8. And there is one more person named as Dobereiner. He suggested a rule of triads. This is just a history. It all happened in around 18th century. Newland and in late 18th and 19th century, Newland and Dobereiner's concepts. Later, around 1850s, Mendeleev, he proposed the periodic table, where he arranged more than 30 elements in a particular ordered manner based on their number, based on their atomic number. As see, remember back then there was no concept of protons and neutrons. Still, he arranged them based on their behavior, like in a periodic table. Let's say this is a periodic table. When he arranged like them in a same group, I'll explain what are these groups and period in the next slide. And when he arranged them in a same group, they all behaved in a certain similar manner. There was a similarity between them. They are not exactly same, but there was a similarity in their reactivity, in their size, and all other different properties. Hence, he arranged them in a particular manner. Later, around 1915, Moseley, a very young scientist, he made the modern periodic table, which is we currently use today, and we keep on adding new elements to it. Recently, we know around 4 or 5 elements were newly added, which are all man-made. They are not naturally occurring. They have a very small life. And one interesting factor about Mr. Dr. Moseley is one of the youngest scientists. He would have got Nobel Prize, but due to unfortunate circumstances of World War, he got to die in Turkey during Gallipoli invasion. So the modern periodic table what we use today is the periodic table designed by Moseley, which was designed on the previous designs by Mendeleev. So we call Mendeleev the father of periodic table, and Moseley is the one who made the modern periodic table. So we'll go into the periodic table now. This is the holy grail of chemistry. We know this periodic table. Starting from basic chemistry to the advanced, when you have to do any new chemical reactions or any new chemical compounds, you'll go back and you'll revisit this table, and you'll see what can be done from this, like which element we can take, we can make what compound, all these permutation combinations you can do with the periodic table. See, periodic table, as you can see, it is arranged in the form of groups, arranged in the form of these rows, row 1, row 2, like that, and also they are arranged in the form of columns. And these rows are called as the rows in which the periodic table is arranged. These are the rows, they are called as periods, and the columns are called as groups. So these are the ones periods, and these are groups. These arrangements are groups. So in all we have 18 groups, 1 2 till 18, and we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 periods. So we have arranged them in the form of 18 groups and 7 periods. So in the periodic table, as we can see, there is different colors. What does this colors means? That is, the elements which are arranged in this particular group, except hydrogen, they belong to one particular properties. They have one particular set of properties. Those properties similar for them. Then comes the group 2, then there is group 3 to this particular group, and then we have this part. What exactly is the part? We'll explain this metallic and non-metallic in the coming slides, but for the brief understanding, this particular region, I'll take different color. This particular region is called as S block. First S block, we know why it is called S block, because you know the how elements are, the how the electron configuration is present in the elements. The electron configuration means how the electrons are arranged in an element. And we know that in an element there are 4 orbitals can be possible: S, P, D, F, and where the outermost electron will go based on the above principle. We know this. We will be putting arrows like this, and it explains how the orbitals are getting filled. That is above principle. I think you know the above principle. And based on that, we have S, P, D, and F orbitals, and how the electrons will go and arrange in that orbital. Based on that property, we have electrons present in the outermost electrons. You have to keep it in mind: outermost electron present in S orbital, or P orbital, or D or F orbitals. If the electrons are present, the outermost electrons, that's very important, you have to keep it in mind. Outermost electron, for example, this is a nucleus, this is first orbital, then there is a second orbital. In this orbital, if it is S and electrons are present in this particular orbital, then we call it is S block elements. Row number 1, row number 2, that is group 1, group 2 are S block. Then come here 5, 6, here this one, from boron to neon. This particular region, this whole region, the electrons are present in the P block, P orbital. Here we know it is S orbital, it's in S block. Here it is in the P orbital, hence it is called P block elements. And middle we can see, this is, as you can guess, it is the D block, because electrons are present in the D orbital. As you know, S orbital can hold only 2 electrons, P can hold 6, D can hold 10, and F can hold 14. And these F are the elements having the outermost electron in the F orbital are present here. And as you know, the most of these elements are radioactive, and we call these lanthanides. I'll be explaining them in the later classes. And these actinides. Most of these actinides are man-made, except till uranium. After this, most of them are man-made: neptunium, plutonium, etc. As you know, uranium is one of the famous, and even plutonium is famous nuclear fuels. Okay, coming back into this periodic table, and these elements, these are D block elements which are present in the middle. The D block elements as shown here, which are present in the middle, are known as transition elements. Why they are called? Because they are transition from S to P block. That's why they are known as transition elements. And in this, even in this S block, we can see 2 colors. This is hydrogen. Hydrogen is not a metal. It's a different entity on its own. From lithium to francium, down here, this all elements 1, 2, 3, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium are called as alkali metals. And from beryllium to radium, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium are known as alkaline earth metals. Both are S block, and the outermost configuration of this particular one, lithium, sodium, and this group is outermost is S1. Here it is S2. Coming into the P block, we have 2 colors, as we can see. From boron, silicon, here it is arsenic, tellurium, and astatine. This particular row from here till here, as you can see, from here till here, this is known as, all this, the marked in red is a P block, but this particular is the non-metals. And these are metals, these are non-metals. We'll explain them when we come to the properties of periodic table. That is, how the element properties varies in the periodic table. But keep it in mind, these are non-metals, these are metals. But here is an interesting thing: from aluminium till polonium in this way, and till here it is this particular element, and here it is polonium. It's a till here it's the thallium, sorry. This particular region, which is marked in blue, is called as metalloids. That is, they have the properties of metals as well as non-metals. Hence we can see it's a highly metallic on the left side. On the right side there is a non-metallic, and here it is a metalloids. And coming into here, the last one, it is the noble gases. Noble gas, as the name suggests, they are noble. This just they stay as they are. They won't interact. They won't undergo any reaction. But actually, that is not technically correct. They undergo the reactions at very high conditions, like we have need very high temperature. I mean, high temperature, or use very strong catalyst, etc. But generally, they are stable. So this is how the periodic table, the outer picture is. But what exactly happens when you form a bond or any property? All the elements in the periodic table want to attain the next noble gas configuration. That is, here you can see sodium has 11 electrons, or sodium atomic number is 11. The nearest noble gas is neon 10. Hence, sodium wants to attain the configuration of neon. Hence, it is stable. That's why they are the benchmark. The noble gases, all the elements want to have the noble gas configuration. Either it is a duplet, that is outermost configuration, outermost electron configuration is a duplet in the case of hydrogen kind of systems, or it is a octet, that is 8 electrons in their outermost orbitals. What all the properties we are going to study next, except some properties, most of them depends on this factor, that all the atoms, all the elements, the atoms present in the elements want to attain stability. How they attain stability? They attain stability by having the same electron configuration, that is having the outermost orbit, having 8 electrons in the outermost orbit, similar to that of noble gases. Hence, the bonding, the concept of bonding or concept of acid bases generally depend upon how the elements present in the periodic table try to attain the properties of noble gases. So this is a rough idea about noble gases. Next, we shall see the properties of the periodic table, that is what are the different properties of the elements and how they behave in the periodic table, that is how these properties vary when we move from here to here, or when we move from here to here. So here we have different properties. One is atomic radius. See, you have to remember 4 important properties here. One is atomic radius, and all are interlinked. Okay, atomic radius is the one property. You have ionization energy, or also known as ionization potential. You have electron affinity. See, as we can see, these all properties are self-explanatory. You can see in the names: atomic radius, ionization energy, electron affinity, and one more is electronegativity. I'll explain that in the subsequent slide. First, let's see what is atomic radius. So as we have seen, an element has an atoms, and the atom, there is a nucleus which contains proton and electrons. Proton and neutron. Electrons are revolving around it in a general sense. Technically, when we invoke the quantum mechanics, that's not the case, but let's keep it simple and think electrons are revolving around it. Now, here there is, let's take for example lithium. Lithium is atomic number 3 and has the electronic configuration of 1s2 and 2s1. This one, I think everyone knows this, 1s2, 2s1. So now here there are 2 electrons in this orbit, and in the outermost orbit here there is 1 electron. Okay. Now this distance, the distance from the nucleus to the last possible electron in this orbit, that is the general terms. This is the definition of atomic radius. As we can see from the name, atomic radius, from the nucleus, the radius of the atom, till where the till where we call atom, till where it is last electron is present. That is, the atom has the nucleus, where the effect of nucleus reaches to its last electron. That is the area of atom. That is where the atom resides. That's why the radius of atom is distance from the nucleus to the outermost electron, on which the nucleus has its effect. I think it's clear. Atomic radius is the distance between the nucleus to the outermost electron. This is atomic radius. This atomic radius varies, as we can see in the periodic table. How atomic radius varies. As we have known now, what is atomic radius? Atomic radius is the distance between the nucleus and the outermost electron. Now we have hydrogen. Hydrogen has the electronic configuration of 1s1. So it is the first orbit. For lithium, it is 1s2, 2s1. So there is 1, it is 1s2, 2s1. For sodium, it is 1s2. Then you have 2s2, 2p6 for sodium. Lithium, because sodium 11, you have to get 11 electrons. 2s2, 1s2, 2 electron. I'll write it. 1s2, 2 electrons. 2s2, 2 electrons. 2p6, 6 electrons. 6 plus 2 plus 2. 6 plus 2, 8. 8 plus 2, 10 plus 1. 2s2, 3s1. So this is the configuration. So you have 1s2. In the 2, it's a shell 1, it's a shell 2. Now you have 3s1. As we can see, when we go down the group, you can see the size is increasing. Why size is increasing? Size is increasing because electron is going to the new shell. Here it was shell number 1, that is 1s1. Here it was 1s2, 2s1, shell number 2. Now it is 3s1, shell number 3. Here it is 4s1, 5s1, 6s1, 7s1. Though outermost number of electrons is same, 1, because that is the first group. But even though outermost electrons are same, that is 1 electron, the shells are increasing. That is, here it was first shell, then it was second shell, and this third shell. Like that, shell number is increasing. Since shell number is increasing, the interaction of the atom, that's the nucleus, with the outermost electron decreases. See, nucleus is a positive charge, electron is a negative charge. There is an electrostatic attraction which keeps the nucleus together. The nucleus attracts the electron, hence the electron and nucleus are close together and we have an atom. But when the electron moves away, farther and farther away, the attraction of this particular nucleus with this electron decreases. Keep this concept in mind, and we will use this concept when we go to ionization energy. Now let's come back here. When we go down, number of shells increases, hence electron is moving away and away and away, hence we have larger atomic radius. So one important factor, as we can see in this particular slide, as the go down the group, when you go down the group starting from hydrogen, when you go to francium, here when you go from hydrogen to francium, atomic size increases. Let's see what happens when you go here to here, that is when you go from left to right in a period. Here you see lithium is 1s2, 2s1, but beryllium it is 2s2. Okay, and when you go to boron, boron is atomic number 5, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. Similarly, here carbon has 2p2, this will be remain same. Nitrogen 2p3, oxygen 2p4, fluorine 2p5, and neon 2p6. As you can see here clearly, you are not adding electron to the new shell, you are adding electron to the same shell. So the size is not increasing here because the shell is same. See, here it is a first shell, now there is a second shell. Here you are adding lithium to the second shell, sodium you are creating entirely a new shell, a new electron is going to the new shell. But here electron was going to here only in a different orbital. It was first in s orbital, in the same shell it went to p orbital, next electron comes to p orbital, next electron comes to p orbital. Hence the electron density on this particular shell increases. But here it was altogether new shell, so it didn't matter. You know, the electrostatic is governed by this equation, Rf1 q1 q2 by r square, that is q1 and q2 are the charges. Here we can take this is a proton and an electron, and r square is the distance. That is, as the distance increases, the electrostatic interaction decreases. That one we know, and that was the case in here, due to the distance. But here you are increasing the charge. That is, you are adding same electron. Distance is remaining same. There is no change in the distance because you are adding to the same shell, but you are changing the charge. Hence, you are changing the charge or increasing the charge. It is directly proportional to the electrostatic interaction. That is, the electrostatic interaction is directly proportional to the charge. You increase the charge, that is, increase the number of electrons. Electrostatic interaction increases, so the nucleus pulls the electron together. Since nucleus pulls the electron together, you will have the atomic size decrease. That is, there is a nucleus, you are adding electrons to the same orbital, that is our same shell here, and the electron is keep on increasing, that is q is increasing, hence nucleus starts attracting the electron more and more, hence the size starting decreasing. When there was a 1 electron, size was less. When it went to 2, size increased. 3, it increased more and more and more. When it goes to 6 electron, that is in the noble gas, you have 1s2, 2s2 and 2p6, the size becomes much smaller. Hence, when you go from left to right, the atomic size increases. So 2 points, keep it in mind. When you go from top to bottom, that is in a group, when you start from top, reach the bottom of the group, the size increases. That is because electrons are being added to the next shell. That is in lithium, it was a shell number 2, it is shell number 3, shell number 4. So electron is moving farther and farther away from the nucleus. Hence there is a little attraction, that is, or attraction decreases, the size increases. But in the case of a same period, as you go from left to right, you are increasing the number of electrons, but not increasing the number of shells. Number of shells remain the same, number of electrons increases. Number of electrons increases, but number of shell remains same. Hence, electron density on the same shell increases, as I given here, Q2, or the electron density. Hence, nucleus starts attracting the electrons more and more, the size decreases. This is about atomic radius. Based on this, we will explain ionization energy, ionization potential, electron affinity, electron negativity, and other related concepts. So I'll explain them in another particular video of this video. You learned something from this video, I hope. If you have any doubts, please put it in the comment section. Thank you.